I'm Kara, and welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. I believe that all of us possess unique gifts and talents that allow us to serve the world and our own growth in the highest possible way. Our lives are an expression of our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And here, we will explore businesses, thought leaders, and topics designed to inspire, helping propel your own growth so you can live your best and most purposeful life. Welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. In today's episode, we go really deep on the healing journey with my new friend, Marty Reinhart. Do you ever meet one of those people and you think, wow, we're talking the same language? Well, that's what it was like when Marty and I met at a conference. And you'll find out the funny story of exactly how we met in the episode, but it's just so funny and why I believe in divine timing and how you're just meant to meet the right people at the right time. So Marty is a real estate agent who passionately serves his clients in the greater Chicago area. And where Marty and I found real alignment is that we're both really passionate about our own healing paths and the intersection between healing, energy, and business. Because we are multidimensional beings living out a human experience. And whether you're a solopreneur, business owner, or working on a corporate level, your life's work has the potential to carry even more impact when you show up as the healed version of yourself in your business. So we go deep on Marty's personal path to healing, things that you can do to bring more healing into your life, and our truest desire, which is to really share more of this type of content and energy in the world so that you too can feel the benefits from working in this way. It's a fun episode I'm excited to share, and it all starts now. Welcome back to the Soul Inspiring Business Podcast. Today we are joined by Marty Reinhart. I am so excited to have you here today. Hi, Marty.
Hello.
So for our listeners, I want to give a little bit of setting the stage for how Marty and I met. Right. So we recently attended a conference, and I was talking to the first day of the conference. I'd met somebody new. They had just gotten off a stage from speaking, and we're talking, and we ended up talking about the podcast and, you know, what soul inspiring business means and how do you bring energy into your business. And they were like, oh my gosh, Kara, you have got to meet our friend. His name is Marty Reinhart. And you all would get along great. Like you're speaking his language, and he speaks yours, right? So I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to meet this character. So then, fast forward, we end up going to a big event and that night, and I walk in, and the first person that I see and like kind of almost bump into, I was like, oh hi, my name's Kara. He's like, oh, my name's Marty. I was like, wait a minute. Is your last name Reinhart? I was like, I was told I needed to meet you. So anyway, that's kind of like how this all evolved. And then of course we started talking, and I was like, yes, we are speaking each other's language. So I was really excited when you agreed to be part of the show and go into this soul conversation, which we don't always get to have in business. So welcome to the show, and thank you for being here. I'm curious what your side of that story is.
So
you're like, who is this random girl that's saying I was supposed to meet you?
No, it was my side of the story is I was just exactly where I was supposed to be at the exact time, and frequencies, they pick up on one another. So we were supposed to meet, and I don't know why I was in. That was like the foyer. I don't know why I went back there after being in like the big party ballroom, like extravagant. Like it was so dope. It was like neon party. Everyone was dressed in like aliens and pink wigs and neon everything. It was so incredible. But I stepped out of there for a minute, and just I don't know what I'm doing ever. I'm just going wherever the flow pulls me. And then you show up, and you're like, somebody just told me I had to meet you. I'm like, yo, then we were supposed to meet. But when I met you, right away I was drawn to your energy, your charisma, and just your vibe. You put out some very beautiful and intentional vibes, and people pick up on them. So thank you for being so inspiring yourself and for bumping into me almost.
Right. Well, we were meant to meet then and we're meant to be together now having this conversation. So I agree, everything, there's no accidents. And so anyway, so thank you for being here. And we're just going to jump right in. So, we started off talking a little bit offline about how, a lot of times we're both in real estate, right? And so we often are talking a lot about business building and the mechanics of business, but a lot of times what's missing from that conversation, and I think what you and I connected on so much, is the soul level, the soul that we're bringing into the energy that we bring into the business, because really that is everything, right? So I'm curious what soul inspiring business means to you, and how that has evolved for you in your own business and life.
So soul inspiring means to me, we're all on our own respective healing journeys, and three things that healing is it's nonlinear, it's never ending, so it's always begun and it's always going to be, whether you're identifying with it or not, and it's to each our own. So what healing has done for me, once I identified with being on a healing journey and started healing with intention, and letting go of a lot of the emotional blockages that are weighing me, us down, and working through them instead of running away from them, that's when I started to actually care to show up in this world, and care to have more intention, and care to inspire others, because the world that I look at when I look out of my house, and look at the things that my daughters are unaware of in today's world, like, I'm not happy about a lot of it. And the intention and my why is to align with the people that I must on my journey, that are going to bring forth healing to the world with me and all of us, and inspire everyone to be better, so that when my daughters are of our age, they'll belong to a world that is worthy of their super talents and their brilliance, because things need to change. And what healing has done to me, and when you say soul, it's like, okay, cool. Healing your soul makes you better at literally everything, because you're actually going to care more, and you're going to have less things in your way to clog your vision. So it's the most powerful thing anyone can do, is heal their soul if they want to be a good entrepreneur, a good painter, a good singer, like whatever, it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
it's missing in our in the corporate world. And when I bring like healing to the intention of my co-creators at Main Street Organization of Realtors, I'm part of the YPN. When I say, yo guys, they're like, what is the intangible? What is the thing you're getting from the what you're going to do on your Marty Reinhart Healing the World tour, right? And I'm like, yo, it's called healing. And they go, you mean mindset? I'm like, so much bigger than that. Mindset's a part of it, but when you are healing your soul, it's an embodiment that is all of you. It's your mind, it's your body, it's your soul. So super cool, and I'm happy to be here. And thank you for asking.
No, yeah. So, and I'm curious because, most of us that have been in this healing work, because I do think it's like we're in business, but really we're all healers. We all have the potential to heal others with our words, with our intentions, our actions, each moment in whatever we're doing, right? Whether we're at the coffee shop or whether we're working with a client, or there's always healing that's happening and has the potentiality to happen in that moment. So I'm curious, for most people that I've met, and even for myself, there's kind of a backstory as to how we've gotten on this journey to begin with, right? So I'm curious for you, can you take us through kind of how you've opened up to this level of understanding, or kind of embracing this healing journey in life and business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was somebody who, always ran away from my demons, the shadow, my darkness, like the things that I didn't want to look at, my trauma, just things. I didn't want to look at myself, So what I did for a long time was I distracted myself with alcohol, drugs, going out and just doing stuff just to do stuff. I didn't really have ambitions. I didn't have goals. I had no self-worth. And my daughter Madeline, I met their mom. Well, so I met their mom. We were pregnant in 3 months. We had Madeline. Madeline taught me how to love. She's 8 years old, so she was born in 2015. And when you have a kid, your perspective shifts a little bit. And then in 2016, Max, my son, came to us, and he went to heaven at childbirth. So for about 3 years, I tricked myself into believing, because we have human brains and, we our egos, and we want to say, poor me, but I tried to repress Max like I did everything else, and run away from him and not have to deal with him. But I couldn't do that. He was very present and powerful, and he kicked my ass like, yo, Dad, you are cool, but you're not that cool. I'm not going down there in the basement cellar with everything else that you don't want to deal with and have the door slammed on right behind me. But he, after about 2 years of cognitive behavioral therapy, I stumbled upon regenerating images in memory, which is a subconscious reprogramming modality that gets rid of trauma. It's very powerful. And when I went down there, it was like, it was bad. I was at one of the lowest points I've ever been in my entire life. And it was perfect, because when I got there, it like just exposed me to healing. And I did some insanely powerful healing. I came back a completely different person. And, so when I went there with this work, it's almost like when you're having a cognitive conversation, when you're conscious, you can avoid whatever you want and you don't have to go places. But when you are doing this type of work, it's very meditative, and it's in a state where you're less than conscious, and you're almost like watching a movie fold out in front of you, like with closed eyes. You're just watching things happen and witnessing it. And it's a very beautiful process. But when I learned about it, I called the girl's mom, my wife at the time, and I said, I'm coming home. I am so afraid of this work, because I'm not going to be able to avoid my son anymore. And I don't know if I'm ready to do the healing I need to do. The next day, she said, if you come home, we're getting divorced. Like that. She said, fuck off, leave me alone. So wow. I was telling you, I was at a low, very low. And it was beautiful, because the next day I went into the training at Michael Klein's house, very intimate. There was like 9 other people there. And every morning we do a check-in circle to see how everyone's doing. And when the piece came to me to share, I couldn't share words, just tears just flooded my eyes. And Michael said, close your eyes. And I closed my eyes, and the work we did, it brought my grandma back to me. She died when I was 18 years old, and she was dead and did not exist and did not belong to me for 13 years. And the 45 minutes of work that we did in Michael's living room brought my grandma back to me. Her and I had a conversation that I've been meaning to have with her for 13 years, but never knew that I could, and freed me of so much negative, hindering, like just energy that consumed my entire being from head to toe. It was so heavy and black and murky. And what's beautiful about healing your soul and getting rid of trauma and the weight that belongs to it is you open up pieces of your space, of your soul, of your being, that will thereafter be available to let in more light and love and freedom. So it's very powerful work. And after 5 sessions, but it's like, okay, cool. So when you're also conscious, you think you know what you need to heal from. And had I thought that I was supposed to start my healing with my son on that session, because that's what I was crying about, my grandma wouldn't have came to me organically and been there as a resource for me to do the healing with my son with. So it's very, very amazing work. And I'm so glad I found Dr. Deborah Sandella, Michael Klein, and all of my RIM friends and family. Because
and what's the work? What is the process that you work through?
So, are you familiar with EMDR by chance?
No, not
EMDR
really,
is
no.
rapid eye movement therapy. You know how they like get the little thing and they dangle it in front of your face and say you're becoming sleepy? What that rapid eye movement does is it shuts off the left side of the brain, which is the critical thinker, is the overanalyzer, is the mathematician. And it distracts that and allows you to go into the right side of the brain, which is the imagination, the subconscious mind, and your artistic side. So we turn off the having to critical think, and we go into almost like dreamland that could bring you to, the root causes of trauma. Like, let's say it's a memory. When I use this analogy a lot. Like, let's say Jennifer was 6 and she was being abused by dad and uncle. And, with this work, it's like, okay, cool. She's feeling this fear, this anxiety. It's like the first time you felt that was, go there, a number just pops in your head and she says 6. And we're like, Jenny, where are you? Where's 6-year-old Jennifer? And she's tied up in the closet. Dad and uncle are doing coke and drinking beer and whatever else disgusting shit they were doing when they were not treating her like they should have. And we look around the room and say, is there any, and what's beautiful is your imagination. There's magic. We can make magic happen. So we look around the room. Is there anything that can free you of these, of this chair right now so you can get out? And she's looking around, and the mushroom from like Mario Brothers comes out, and she touches it and turns into a giant, and the house falls like as she, Alice in Wonderland, like the house just like kind of falls apart while she turns into a giant. And now she's looking at dad and uncle as a giant. And then it's like, okay, what do you want to do now? And sometimes the giant wants to step on dad and uncle and kill them so that they can never harm anyone again. And sometimes they just want to go be a giant and do giant shit, like go dance or something on a rainbow. I don't know. But, it's a very beautiful process of healing. And what this does is it tricks the brain to create a new neurotransmitter from that root evil that triggers trauma, and brings it to a space that is loving and kind, and you have power over. And now this does not have power over you anymore, and it's a light switch. So I had a friend of mine who we did one session, and it got rid of 51 years of separation anxiety overnight.
Wow. Super powerful.
And then, of course, once the work is complete, there is a anchoring in process, and making sure that this practitioner is aware that everything that's been expressed and received is now anchored into their emotional memory and belongs to them. And then when you ask them to close their eyes, usually a few tears come out, and they smile and they go like, "Oh my God, I feel free," or "I feel so good. Thank you for inviting me to join you on this." And I'm like sitting there like, "Yo, thank you for letting me be there for that. That was amazing healing."
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's great fun for me.
That's the interesting thing, I think, too, about energy work, and is that it's healing for both parties, right? Because you experience the healing as the person's being healed, right? So it's pretty
healing others and bringing light into their souls, and more light into our world, because it's like anything, it creates a ripple, because they're now feeling free and light, and they inspire others around them, which is going to get the mission done at the end of the day. But it's a lot of fun, and yes, it's very fulfilling, because it's what I enjoy doing most, is supporting others on their missions and their journeys. So.
No, that's really beautiful, and thank you for sharing. And so, do you have conversations with Max now, because it's beautiful to share about your little boy? So, how does he kind of inspire you and work with
Madeline.
You now?
That's my 8-year-old, and when she was about that size, she'd be playing with Max every day, and I'd sit on the couch and she'd be like, "Dad, you sat on Max. Dad, get off Max." I'm like, "Yo, I didn't sit on him. He doesn't got a body, yo. Like, if he did, he'd probably be hurt right now." Like, joking around. And then this little one, she's 3 years old now. I have a huge, like, it's beautiful. I have a huge tapestry, like mural of an alien on my wall above my bed, and that's Max. And he watches us as we sleep every night. But this one talks to her brother every day as well. So it's very beautiful. And every time I see the 444, it's my son saying hello to me from heaven. And I see it all the time.
I love that. There's, I think the interesting thing too is that I think it's important to have that understanding that we're never alone, right? We're always, if we're open to seeing it and receiving it, there is so much power and helpers available, angels, however you want to see it, but available to us in every moment. And I think on the business side too, right? Just to take it to business, like thinking of it from that perspective too, like they want you to succeed. They want you to expand into higher versions of yourself. And so when we can learn that we're never alone, we always have the availability to ask for help and receive it. But it starts in the awareness that they're there, and also then the asking and the being willingness to receive, right?
Absolutely.
So,
The reason my grandma was dead for 13 years and didn't belong and didn't exist, and my son for like 2 or 3, is because I was not allowing them to be with me, and I was not allowing them to be present, because I chose their non-existence over what I am choosing today.
yeah. Well, and how do you, what is like, because I know, I mean, you are in real estate, so we've got the healing journey with us, right? But you also are a practicing real estate, team leader. And, what does that look like for you practically in each day? Like, how do you maintain that level of awareness, or do you have any centering practices that you do daily or throughout the day to
Yeah.
keep that awareness alive?
I do. I'm an avid reader, journaler, meditate. I sing, I dance. Like I tap into different creative aspects of myself all the time and always. And what that does is it allows me to receive ideas. Like nothing that we create is original. Like we're receiving this inspiration from somewhere. And when I'm singing and when I'm dancing and with my daughters and when I'm journaling and when I'm painting and doing all the, weird crap Marty does, I receive beautiful intentions for like masterminds. I see the future very vividly when I meditate and when I look into the future. And I tell people I'm a time traveler, I'm an artist, and I'm a healer, right? I'm not a realtor. But I do sell homes, and I'm in love with the industry, and I'm going to, with the help of our beautiful company, create the catalyst that's going to set me free financially so that I can manifest the healing and the art and the music from a place of absolute freedom. So I love real estate. It's a lucrative business, and the practices that keep me aligned is just keeping my mind, my soul, my body aligned. Like in the gym, I play a lot of chess online. I play with Jason Cassidy sometimes. Like,
Do you?
he's the best realtor I've ever played, and I played quite a few from across the country. But it's like Jason. We're back and forth. Either he'll beat me or I'll beat him. It's not just one way or the other. And I play 3 games of chess just about every morning before I go onto my computer, just to make sure my mind is sharp. I want to win 3 games in a row, and most times I do. Sometimes I do not, but. I do. I don't know. That's something I do. And then just the gym, eating clean, making sure I'm getting sleep, like the basics. Like a lot of people don't take the time to really put thought into the basics, and the basics are, the foundation that's going to propel forward, like all of the everything, like being more intentional and having better systems and treating people better, because now you're treating yourself more kind, and you're now not as impatient as you used to be, because I don't know what it is, but I feel like the more you take care of yourself, the more you are able to show up and take care of business. So that's something my team and I kind of do, is we make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, our emotions, our bodies, our minds, and our souls. Yeah. So.
I love that. And for your, which I think is great and so aligned, is your name on screen is Party Marty. So I love it. Not taking life too seriously. And I love that idea that you shared about, being inspiration comes in so many ways. And I think you're right. Sometimes just being out, like for me, it's being in nature and like literally just going on walks and kind of allowing that's where I get ideas. And, and sometimes I think when we talk to a lot of people in our industry, it's like hustle, scripts, all this. And, I think like you shared, it's being in life, right? It's experiencing and loving the life that you're in, that the dancing, the making time for play, really, that I think can allow, and sometimes asking, having an intention that, hey, I receive inspiration in all that I do, right? And so then in all that you do, you're in a state of receiving, whether that's playing chess or whether that's dancing with your girls or whatever it is, right?
Absolutely.
It's like not a normal business advice, but I think it's really practically one of the best things that you can do is be in the beat of life and then being open to receiving. And more importantly, then knowing when the guidance comes in and being able to take action on that, right? So
Absolutely.
how do you kind of discern that for yourself? I'm curious, like when you get the inspired idea, like what's your practice or what does that look like for you?
So I have many journals. I have journals for my songs. I have journals for my poetry. I have journals for work. I have a huge whiteboard that takes up my entire wall that me and my girls attack often. And I meditate a lot. I listen to music. I sing. I just sang a bunch of karaoke with people over in San Diego. So I just do whatever. When the inspiration or the flow of like whatever comes, I don't interrupt it. I just let it be. So sometimes I won't create a certain kind of content for a while, and then the next thing you know is I'm inspired to make a bunch of like videos, or I'm inspired to write, or I'm inspired to take pictures and make them look like something completely different on Canva. It's like I don't. So my work is very organic and flowing. So when the inspiration comes or I'm feeling artsy, I don't question it. I just let it go and get after it, if you will.
I love that. Being in the beat of life and allowing that to come through. And because everybody has a different version of meditation, I'd be curious as to what that looks like for you. Do you have a particular song bowl or because meditation can look so different. And I think people get intimidated by that because they're like, oh, I can't meditate. I can't, and so then they don't. So what is that like for you practically, or how do you get into that space?
So I had so many different ways. I mean, yoga in itself is a meditation. I usually, before I start like closing my eyes and focusing my attention on my breath, if I'm going to, meditate the, old-fashioned way, if you will, with closed eyes, and I put my palms up to receive. Always, I'm always open to receive. Sometimes, people, when they want to keep things kind of in where they position their palms a different way and keep themselves in their journeys inward. So I'm always open to receive whatever comes, but it's either sensing my body or focusing on my breath, or imagining this weird thing of like my hand positioning and fire coming out of my hands and my third eye and all of them connecting in a triangle. Like I do a bunch of weird different techniques, and I just kind of do whichever one just comes when I have my focus is, hey, I'm going to meditate. Which one feels most correct right now? And that's kind of what I trust as far as the modality. But driving without music, like just driving and being in silence is a good thing. Being in nature is an amazing form of meditation. And then when I'm at like a music festival and the vibes are just so beautiful and loving and everyone's there to smile and, vibe together, and I start dancing, I do get lost. And that is the highest form of meditation I think I ever have. Like when I'm dancing, things are just like, I'm just like, holy shit, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun. So it's all different.
Yeah. And I think that's the idea. Like you said, it's the whole point of meditation, right, is to quiet the mind and to embrace the moment, right? The present moment, and to kind of lose yourself in that, to quote Eminem. But,
yes, surrender, throw it all away.
That's right. And so, I love that. It's not one thing. It's all the things that it could be many different things for different people, right? But it's like, how do you get to the highest part of yourself where you can let go of that mind, and the voices that are constantly chirping at us, right?
Well, I think the biggest thing about meditation, just like anything, is it's a practice. So the practice is to detach yourself from your thoughts and to detach yourself from even your body and your being. I mean, it's you can go so many different ways with it. You can go outward where you expand your consciousness into outer space, or you can expand your consciousness downward into your being, like to the deepest cellular levels. And it's very, very beautiful. But I think with anything is practice, just give it practice. And when people are thinking they're doing it wrong, they're not. That's part of the practice is disassociating yourself with your thoughts. Like, witness your thoughts when you're thinking, I'm doing this wrong. That's not your voice. Look at that and be like, okay, cool. I guess I'm doing it wrong, or I'm not. But that's those words, they're supposed to be there. And once you start to disassociate yourself with the words, it's going to be easier to just shut them out completely, because souls don't speak in human words. And when I meditate, I tap into my soul and identify with that, like as I'm conscious and as I'm like at a lesser state of consciousness. And all souls love all other souls, and all souls are one with one another as well. So I can go wherever I want when I close my eyes, and I've been practicing for a long time, and it's something that I encourage everyone to try at least for some time. But it's a practice, 100%.
Yeah, agreed. And it's not and a commitment, right? To say, okay, I'm going to commit to this for an X period of time, so that you can start to get into that, to give yourself grace as you're hearing the voices telling you you're doing it wrong, and then learning how to quiet that and know that that's part of it. Like, everybody starts somewhere. It's like, if you're going to ride a bike, you don't start knowing how to ride the bike, right? Anybody can access meditation, but in any given moment, and that awareness is available to us, but sometimes it takes longer to, or it's a practice, and not every day is the same. Some days you may feel more distracted and have to give yourself more grace, right? So I love all of this, and this has been such a fun conversation. I'm curious because this is soul inspiring business too. So from a business practicum, what are you doing right now as you're dreaming and visualizing into what next year is going to bring, and what you want to create for the next 1, 3, 5 years? What does some of that look like for you? Because I'm also pretty flow in terms of, allowing myself grace to have inspired ideas. But then there's also the other side that's like, there has to be some type of system or structure that we're flowing with too, right? So Absolutely. How do you balance those two worlds?
So balancing professional and not professional, or
balancing the business side, the practicum of business, which requires some type of structure or, team structure, and then allowing flow to also be part of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not only a hippie, I'm also a very mathematical minded hippie.
I mean, you're a badass entrepreneur. Let's be real, right? So anybody that's listening, I think that's what's cool about this conversation is you're a killer business entrepreneur, real estate guru, right? But you also are all these other things. And like you said, that, it's the whole being. But I think if to let people know, yes, you're a badass entrepreneur, and you are deeply connected spiritually and at a soul level to the world and to your business. So how does that all play out for you? So how do you balance both of those?
So my mind is, I have ADHD, but my mind is also very mathematical. So I create all my own systems from scratch. I've never use the CRM that anyone else uses. I have my own CRM for my database. I have my workflow. I have my accountability. I eat the same meals every week. I shop at the same grocery store. I do a lot of things systematically because that's what keeps me healthy and moving forward. And that's what I know I need with the way that my mind works. Because if I were to allow myself to flow as freely in my business as I do my like healing or my spiritual embodiments, I'd fall flat on my face because I wouldn't want to sell people houses, right? I'd want to call them and give them a hug and heal their souls, right? So it's like, okay, cool. Well, and that's why I say I'm not a realtor. Like I'm a realtor in a sense where I am a licensed agent, and I believe I'm the best agent for every job because I show up with more commitment, more intention. My systems are very flowmatic. They don't let anything slip through the cracks. And I allow my agents to track my work alongside me because I have them on Excel spreadsheets. So I'm like, yo, you can follow along too. I don't skip a beat, but I've committed to my craft, and I've learned everything that not everything, but I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly evolving, and that's I think one of the coolest things about being with Real is we're learning together. Like there's agents from all 50 states, so we're getting perspectives from all over the place. Before I feel like anyone else in my market learns and hears certain things, like we've been doing it for a couple months, and I think it's just the one real collaboration is so insanely powerful. So I keep myself systematic when it comes to my workflow, but the reason I'm able to commit to it as heavily as I do is because I love people and care about their fulfillment and care about their, their families and the future that they're going to have in the home that we like manifest for them. So,
Yeah.
So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to know that I think the marriage of business and soul, I think that's kind of the idea that I think both of you carry with us, right? Is that how do we, you can be really intentional in your business and very systematic, but then also allowing flow to flow through the business so that you can create inspiration. So it's like you do this, and I would say like healing spiritual work in the morning. Some people call it mindset, but I think it's so much deeper than that, right? So we have this piece of us that exists and that we feed, but then you show up and do the work for the people that you're meant to serve in each moment. So you can, and there's systems and business that go along with that, and they can all be one, right? It's not, and I think that's what I took from your message too, is that yes, you have a system, you have systems that you're using to serve people at a high level, but let's also allow ourselves to be in the moment, be present for people, allow flow, creativity to inspire what we're doing. It's like having a framework and then giving yourself the ability to flow through the framework.
Yes, having a framework, but also having, having surrendered to not being tied up to circumstances or not being tied up to what is, because the industry. It's like hard to get caught up in the emotions and all of the things that are there. But something that you when you were talking, you reminded me. So I'm locked in. So when I'm at work, I'm locked into work. When I'm off work, I'm locked into being. When I'm with my girls, I'm locked into being a dad with them. So I lock into the moments, and when I'm at work, I'm all in with work. So I'm not just like kind of like staring up at the stars and floating around like I am right now on this call with you.
Right.
One of my friends over here, when we were at Rise, and I'm sitting there like dancing at the party, she's like laughing. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I just learned something. She's like, you are always on, huh? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, that's why I didn't like you when I first met you, because you were so locked into your work vibe, and now you're locked into this weird party dance mode guy. I'm just like, yo, I'm always locked in. Yeah.
Well, right. Like being totally present with everything, with how you're showing up to everything you're doing in each moment, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And being present in that. And then that's what allows, I think, also for the ideas to flow when you're totally present in each moment, because then you're open to receiving in each moment as you're doing and totally present. Because the more presence we have, I think the more we're open to receiving in that moment. When we carry into agenda or a fixed idea of how something's going to go, then sometimes that can detach us from a bigger possibility. Did I say that right?
Of course you did.
Maybe. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. I really appreciate you, and I'm excited that we got to know each other and make this happen as we were meant to, and look forward to following your journey and staying connected through it all. And any just last words for our listeners? How can people get in touch with you? What are the best ways for people to find you? Because I'd love for people to learn more about you.
Right now, on Instagram, it's Marty, MERTY _ Reinhart, RINEHART _ vibe, VIBE. And you can call me 224-355-9903. And you can call or text me anytime. Yeah, just be on the lookout, because I got some very exciting things that I'm bringing into existence in 2024 and beyond. But no, it's very cool. If you if you pour into yourself and you elevate your intention and your vibration, you're going to pick up on the other vibes that are around you. Like Kara and I picked up on one another, and things are going to happen that are so beautiful and for you. So if you're somebody who's, like we were saying, people are drained and exhausted and spinning their wheels and doing all this stuff. So if you are not taking care of yourself and pouring into other people's from a space of depletion, stop doing that and rest and take care of yourself and pour into you and elevate your vibration so that you can also inspire others and run into your tribe. So I don't know, I guess that's all I got to say about that. But it's healing's important, and I think it's going to be something that is spoken more of in the entrepreneurial space and the workplace, because so many people need it right now. And it begins with taking care of yourself. So
that's a beautiful message and a great way to end it. I don't think I could have said it better. So thank you so much again for being here, and it was just a real treat.
Thank you so much, and hope you have a blessed and beautiful day.
You too. Loved being here with you today, and would love to connect with you more over on Instagram. My handle is linked to the show notes, or you can just type in @KaraChafin_Donofrio. And I have something special for you as a free gift, my Dynamic Life Journal. This special book has the power to really help you live a soul-inspired life. Go to freegiftfromkara.com. Easy to remember, freegiftfromkara.com. Until next time, beautiful people, sending all my love.